All righty, we ready to start? Thank you for waiting for us. We are back into open session now, and we are going to start with the invocation tonight given by Ms. Tanini. If you would rise for that and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Our kind Father in heaven, we come before thee this evening as we gather together with open minds, and as we work through the issues regarding our students in Alvin ISD. We pray that thou will bless us with thy spirit, that we may make decisions that are best for all involved, that we may do things with a mind single to what thou would have us do and what is best for the students, staff, and communities that we serve. We're grateful for the opportunity that we have to serve, and pray that thou will guide us in all of our decisions. We thank thee and ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, before we go on to the next agenda item, which would be the introduction of greeters, Ms. Scheibel, Trustee Scheibel is not able to be here tonight. She asked me to extend her sincere apologies for missing tonight's meeting, but she had to be actually out of state for a business commitment that cannot be changed. So please accept her apologies. Mr. Combs, would you like to start with the introduction of greeters?
Yes, ma'am. Our greeters today are the cast and crew of the Alvin High School fall play, Noise is Off. And this is called one of the funniest plays ever written. And Noise is Off is a play within a play that takes the audience behind the scenes and every actor's worst nightmare. A show where everything that can go wrong does go wrong. The cast would like to share a little bit about their experiences working on the play with us this evening. So, who's up first? Madison Myers is up first. Madison.
Hello, thank you for coming out. I'm the stage manager for the show, or one of them anyway. I would just like to share about my experience with the theater department. It has opened up so many opportunities for me and given me the courage to do things I never would have thought of before. And now our next person will come talk.
Hello, I'm Elisa Collier. I play Brooke Ashton, who plays Vicky, and theater is the only reason I ever want to go to school.
Hello, my name is Kaylee Law. I play the character Dottie Otley, who plays the character Miss Clackett. And I like theater so much, I would give up every elective that I have to stay in theater.
Hello, my name is Timothy White. I play Gary Lejeune, who plays Roger, and theater gives me something to be passionate about every day.
Hello, my name is Haley Haruska, and I play Poppy Norton Taylor in Noise is Off. And theater motivates me to keep my grades up so I can participate in extracurricular activities involving theater. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amaya Paget, and I play Belinda Blair, who plays Flavia. And my favorite thing about theater is we're all really close-knit, so they're like my second family.
Hello, my name is Reed Choate. I play Frederick Fellows, who plays Philip in the show Noise is Off. I am also Alvin High School Drama Club president, and I love theater because it's taught me skills like leadership and social skills that I'm going to use probably for the rest of my life. So that was helpful.
Hello, everyone. My name is Reese Powling, and I play Lloyd Dallas in the show Noise is Off. Theater has given me an opportunity to express myself, to make lifelong friends and memories, and to make people laugh and cry. I believe I speak for all of my new castmates and crew when I say that there's nothing more fulfilling than putting on a great show, so I hope you'll all come out and see it. And now I'd like to make Dr. Gilcrease an honorary cast member by giving him this t-shirt.
Get back up there and tell us when the performance times are.
The show will premiere on October 23rd and then on October 24th at 7 o'clock. Tickets are $6, I think $5 with 2 canned goods for Canned Food Drive.
Oh, cool.
So, thank you.
And these students are under the direction of Miss Reese, who's hiding in the back over there. But how about another round of applause for the cast and crew? Well, this evening we have a number of commendations as well for the board meeting, so let's go ahead and get started with that. First, we have a young man who many of us have seen on TV along with his teammates. If Mr. Lloyd Richard III would please start heading down to the front. Lloyd is an 8th grader at Nolan Ryan Junior High. Lloyd plays center field and left field for the Pearland West Little League team. And this August, he and his team traveled to Williamsport, Pennsylvania to compete in the Little League World Series, where they became the 3rd best Little League baseball team in the world. How about a round of applause for Lloyd? All right, congratulations, Lloyd. Thank you for representing Nolan Ryan Junior High and Alvin ISD. Next, we would like to invite Miss Lauren Luna, art teacher, or as she has shared with me, teaching artist. Is that right? Did I get it right, Miss Luna? From Mark Twain Elementary. She was recently awarded the Best in Show at the Pearland Arts League on the weekend of September 19th. Ms. Luna is a teaching artist who remains active in the local communities, displaying, selling, and teaching art all over Houston and the surrounding areas. Now, if you've been by Mark Twain recently and you've seen the incredible mural, what's the term, Ms. Luna? Mosaic, thank you. The incredible mosaic that the elementary students put together in honor of some of the teachers that passed away. It's unbelievable. And Ms. Luna worked with a number of the students there at the campus to put that together. So incredible work, Ms. Luna. Congratulations.
It is well worth the trip to go see. It's beautiful.
It is. It's unbelievable to see that students were able to.
It really is, yeah.
Next, we have from Hood Case Elementary, 5th grade science teacher, Deborah O'Sullivan. Miss O'Sullivan, are you here with us? Come on down, please. Miss O'Sullivan was named the winner of the National Support Our Science Sweepstakes. On September 10, 2015, students at Hood Case Elementary were treated to an interactive assembly organized by the Science Channel and Discovery Education. In addition to the assembly, which is part of Science Channel's Support Our Science initiative, Hood Case Elementary received a check for $10,000 to support teachers and engage students in the power of STEM education, all thanks to Ms. O'Sullivan's efforts. Congratulations. Developing the culture of a high school is a significant process that provides a sense of identity and community to the students and staff, as well as community members. The Shadow Creek High School administrative team was adamant that the process was inclusive of all students that wanted to participate. Not only were numerous public meetings held, it was decided that the opportunity presented itself to engage our students in an incredible civics lesson. So thanks to the partnership with Brazoria County Commissioner Stacey Adams, County Commissioner Adams, if you'll come down, please. Come to the front, along with Janice Evans, Elections Director, and County Clerk Joyce Hudman, along with Ms. Wheeler from the Pearland Westside Library, who is not able to be here. Our students were able to experience an authentic voting opportunity using the actual county election machines to determine their mascot for Shadow Creek High School, the Shadow Creek High School Sharks. So we would like to say thank you to County Commissioner Adams, Ms. Evans, and Ms. Hudman for all their efforts in bringing this opportunity to our students. And to add, for Ms. Evans, as part of our continued partnership with Brazoria County and our joint interest in civic responsibility, Ms. Evans would like to extend an invitation to Alvin ISD students and encourage them to get involved in the Student Poll Workers Program, which has been approved by the Texas legislature. This program allows high school students to work as poll workers on Election Day. And she says we have a presidential election coming up, so bring all the students that would like to work the elections to her, and she'll put them to work. So thank you all again for your efforts, and congratulations. And just to say an appreciation this evening, do we have County Commissioner Linder? Is he still with us this evening? County Commissioner Linder is here as well, and his efforts and his team made this possible. So how about a round of applause for County Commissioner Linder? This evening we have one additional item that we would like to bring to your attention. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has proclaimed that October 2015 is Principals Month in the state of Texas. So if we have a few principals here today, we're going to put you on the spot. If you will please stand, because we're about to talk about you, and we want to know who we're talking about. So principals, please stand for just a moment. And these are the folks that we're sharing appreciation for. And in part, Governor Abbott's proclamation reads that principals are more than just caretakers of their schools. Principals are expected to be educational leaders, disciplinarians, community builders, spokespersons, budget analysts, and guardians of policy mandates and initiatives. And that's just before 10 a.m. each day. Principals set the academic tone for their schools and work collaboratively with teachers to set performance objectives, maintain high curriculum standards. He went on to share that at this time, he encourages all Texans to acknowledge the important role principals play in ensuring that every child has access to a high-quality education. And for that reason, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, proclaims October 2015 to be Principals Month.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is open forum. We're open to the open forum portion of the agenda. If you would like to address the board, you should have submitted the public participation form and submitted it to the superintendent secretary prior to the meeting according to policy BED local. After I call your name, and we have 2 individuals who have completed forms this evening, please come to the podium and state your name, address, and the purpose of addressing the board. Please understand that you will have 5 minutes to speak. I respectfully ask that you make no derogatory statement about any board member, student, or employee of the school district. I ask that you understand that the board cannot take actions on your request or comment at this time. However, the president or designee may refer the request to the superintendent for review. Okay. Tanya Merritt.
Good evening. My name is Tanya Merritt, and I'm here because on behalf of my daughter, Chloe McCoy, who has already attended kindergarten 10 months before Merrick Elementary, but she's in kindergarten again. I understand the core beliefs of Alvin ISD. They believe that the students will achieve their maximum potential when provided engaging learning opportunities. They believe parents expect excellence in educational experiences. They believe the teachers create a safe and engaging learning environment that fosters the success of each student. They also believe that campus leaders establish a climate where where everyone matters by creating a culture of pride and ownership in their schools, and so forth and so on. But my child has not been able to achieve her maximum potential because she has not been provided an engaging learning opportunity that will meet her academic needs. Instead, she has been placed in a setting to regress. My child has Stanford scores that shows that she is on the national level, reflecting grade levels 1st to 6th, achieving above average in most of her subjects. As a parent, I do expect excellence in my educational experience that will make my child's educational goal become more achievable, but my experience has been far from excellent. I've been told that my child could be placed in the 1st grade, could not be placed in the 1st grade, but it's all right because individuals in administration have held their kids back. So she's being held to personal individuals stagnant based on personal reasons. I've also experienced and been told that based on a window viewing of my child where nothing could be judged besides the color of her skin and that she's a female, that she wasn't the smartest child in her class. My child wasn't given the opportunity to thrive. Instead, she wasn't even considered. So I'm here today to say as a taxpayer that my child is in a current learning environment that does not foster or meet any of her academic skills based on retaliation by administration because I've complained. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next on, person who submitted an open forum request is Vernice Serial Jr. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name.
Sorry, that's okay.
Come on up to the podium, please.
Good evening. My name is Vernon Sorrell Jr. I reside at 11612 Cross Spring Drive, Pearland, Texas, 77584. On this evening, I'm here to address the board in regards to building relationships in our community between our kids and the police department. As you all are aware, there's been many incidents that have gone on across our nation that have involved black men and police officers. Tonight, I'm not here to say that Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. I'm here to say that all lives matter. And I would like to request that, I went to the city of Houston's, the city of Pearland City Council meeting. And I spoke with them and they were very interested in developing that relationship. One of the city council members asked me, well, how do we get people out? How do we get people there? Because it's very important that we start to bridge this gap, because I wouldn't want anything to happen to one of my kids. I coach and mentor, pastor several kids in this community, and I would hate for one of my kids or even your kids to be on the news behind this. And he asked me, how do we get them involved? I said, well, there's one way you do it. You go to the ISD. Why? Because parents will support their kids through the schools. So tonight I'm here to ask that you all would get on board. It's not an initiative. It's nothing like that. I just want to see our city safe. And I'm speaking of, in Shadow Creek Ranch, we're in the city of Pearland. And I know a lot of the kids, and I would hate for something to happen in our backyard. So I'd like to propose that you all get on board, and let's get some resources together. Let's start thinking about some things that we can do to try to build this relationship between our community and the police department. Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty then. Moving forward on the agenda, the next agenda item is a presentation by Templeton Demographics. I believe it's our enrollment forecast.
Let's see, Pat, I believe somebody's here from Templeton Demographics. Give us the fall update.
Yes, Templeton Demographics, as a consultant to Alvin ISD, works on our behalf to help us keep abreast of the growth in our school district. And so twice a year they come with a student enrollment forecast. And so tonight Rocky Gardner is here representing Templeton Demographics to deliver the fall forecast.
It's a pleasure to be here. And I don't know that I've been before this board. It's been, I've been working in the district for 3 or 4 years, 5 years maybe, but Bob usually keeps me pretty close to Dallas-Fort Worth, so let me get out tonight, so it's a pleasure to be here. Well, I'm going to run through this presentation fairly quickly. Feel free to stop me. I think I can back this up if I need to, and we can talk about things, or we can wait till the end. You know, we do come out and we look at information in Alvin ISD several times a year, but we always kind of start with kind of an economic outlook. You know, the MSA, the unemployment rate now is well below 5% in Houston, even though we've had the downturn in the oil boom. You know, with unemployment rates below 5%, it's a very strong job market actually. Job growth of just over 40,000 persons in the last 12 months. And single-family permits at almost 56,000. It's slightly less than the same period in 2014, but still very strong. Keeping in mind that a permit isn't always a house, because you're going to see numbers later that says that we've closed 35,000 homes. And so you'll see some numbers that conflict that a little bit. Now, with the oil boom, you know, there's been a little bit of a dip. I think we all know that's been going on. And we wonder how that might compare to new housing growth and strong growth. And to be honest, I can't read those bullets. Can y'all see those bullets, or do you have a copy in front of you? I hope. The housing prices are going to continue to rise. Inventory is going to continue to increase even in this current market. They think that the builders currently believe that they're going to build 32,500 homes next year. The absorption rate is about, the demand's about 35,000 homes. So there's still a high demand for new housing in the Houston area, and we're currently on pace to permit 37,000 homes. So a little bit lower, but that's in the Houston area. If we look in Alvin, what's happened, this is just, now we're focusing in on the Alvin Independent School District. You can see that 995 home starts occurred in Alvin, so almost 1,000 home starts in the last 12 months. 893 homes closed, so almost 900 homes closed. That's the growth that came to Alvin this year's school enrollment. You can see that's the trailing 12 months. So when school started this year, that's where your growth came from new housing. Of course, you've got regeneration and growth within existing housing as well. 1,278 vacant developed lots exist. A VDL is basically a lot that's ready to be built on tomorrow. So we know that there's enough vacant lots on the ground right now to continue at this pace and even grow faster going into 2016. And then you see that really big number there, that 15,470. That's how many future lots are out there right now. That's not developed, that's raw land, but that's stuff that we're aware of. Our team not only talks, we buy data from a new home consulting company that drives every subdivision, but then we go out and we research information ourselves. So we've added almost 2,000 lots to that future lot inventory just based on information that we've found. The Sierra Vista lots, Sterling Lakes added lots, information that was not necessarily in the current Metro Study report. So that's over 15,000 lots, and you can see that only Fort Bend ISD has more future home development in their report there. If we zero in on the quarterly starts, last quarter, the second quarter, so this would have been through June, okay, of 2015, 290 starts. That's the highest number of new home starts in Alvin ISD, likely in Alvin ISD history in the last 10 years, certainly in the last 5 years. 273 closings, so closings are staying very tight to starts, and that's always a good sign because you don't want your inventory to increase too much. There's a green line at the top of that chart, and that is inventory. Inventory are homes that are under construction or finished vacant, and you're seeing a little bit of an increase there, and really what that is more than anything, it's not that they can't sell homes, it's that they can't build them fast enough. There's a little bit of a labor shortage, so what might have taken 3 to 4 months to build a home is now taking 4 to 5 months. So it's taken a little bit longer to build some of that housing. But Alvin ISD is currently on trend to likely exceed 1,000 homes next year closed. If we want to see where these new home closings are occurring, there's probably, you can watch and see it. We're kind of in the high growth area right now where we're at. Sterling Lake, Savannah, South Lake, there's over 400 homes. So over half of the top 10 closings are located, just in those 3 subdivisions. Again, the annual closings are homes that are now occupied by persons. So this is where your growth came from leading into this year. This next slide is your vacant developed lots, the lots that I talked about previously that are on the ground and ready to be built on tomorrow. Again, the majority of your vacant developed lots are right here in the corridor here. And these are where your growth is going to come from next year and the year following, okay? Now, in order to stay on this pace, part of those 15,000 futures that are also located, for the most part, on this side of the district, those futures are going to have to begin to get delivered. Because if you think about that, at over 1,000 homes a year, then they need to deliver about 800 of those futures going into this year to be able to keep the pace up into future years. So that's kind of the direction of growth. This slide here is a little bit hard to see, I understand, but we've summarized the housing data by attendance zone that kind of give you a picture of where the growth is. So if you see color there, the yellow color represents the attendance zone that has the highest number of, like, say, starts in that category. So the Jeter zone, you see lots of yellow. Jeter has started more homes, closed more homes. They have more homes under construction and more homes in inventory than any other attendance zone in Alvin ISD. The second highest are in green, and then pink is the third highest. And you can also see on the far end the future development there. You see the majority of the future development is down in Mason. Of course, that's probably that's the Meridian, that's accounting for that large number. Jeter is second, followed by Savannah Lakes. So again, the majority of future development is all on this side of 288. Now I'm going to go through a few slides now that just represent some of the research that we're doing. Again, I don't want you to think that for the sake of time, we don't have a picture of every development that we're looking at. Okay, so we just hit on a few. The numbers that you see on this page here are the single family housing. You see there's 12 developments there, 12,000 futures. So these 12 developments represent 12,000 of the 15,000 futures that we talked about before. The 2016 absorption estimate of over 1,500 homes. Now what that's saying, that's where the builders are saying what they think they can deliver. They think they can deliver and sell 1,500 homes next year. They're on pace to do about 1,000. So you can see that there's always going to be a difference in what they say that can deliver and what actually gets built. And it's not that they're telling any fibs, because they really want to get that mojo going. But there's really only so much absorption an area can take. And so again, I just want to differentiate between what the builders are providing us and what our forecast is predicated on. Here's a couple of the developments. I'll just kind of hit on it. Sterling Lakes, they've got the Sterling Lakes West now, 569 total lots. The final plots have been approved. Section 1's got 86. Section 2, 135 lots. Streets and infrastructure installed. Jeter Elementary. Sierra Vista, this is 1,000 total lots. As of September 15th, this has not been approved. Okay, so this is just where future development could occur. Infrastructure and construction could begin in 2016 or 17, but again, this has to be approved before that can happen. Martha's Vineyard. Now this is from a concept plan. They've got 246 single-family lots, 157 townhome lots, a total of 403 lots. This is all based on the developer's concept plan. No time frame for development on this, so we know this raw land, so it's at least 2 years out. It generally takes about 2 years from the time they start moving dirt until the first home is built. Now this is this 5,400 acres. You may have heard of this. This is being developed by Highland Resources Development. This is very new. They don't even have any plans yet. Our team has talked to this developer. They've talked to Highland Resources, but there's actually we have no lot counts. We have no totals. It's split between Alvin, Angleton, and Danbury. You can see the school districts there. Just a little piece of it in Danbury, and then you see Alvin. So Alvin's in the area that's not shaded. So this would technically fall within the Stevenson Disney's current attendance zone, but again, 5,400 acres. Strong development. Now I want to talk a little bit about multifamily. It's a little hard to see this, but when we look at your multifamily, one thing that we look at is the multifamily yields. How many students are coming out of these apartments? So the bigger the red dot, the more the students that are coming out of the apartments. The red dots represent apartments that yield over 0.6, which would be about 6 students for every 10 units. And then the smallest, the green dots are 0.3, and then the yellow is about 0.3 to 0.6. So you've got some fairly high yields here in Alvin ISD. You know, the average in 14-15 was about 0.49 on these apartments. This year it's 0.53, so pretty strong yield. I mean, we typically see 0.3 as an average yield for some apartment complexes. So there's some very high yielding apartment complexes. We zeroed in here on Shadow Creek Ranch just to kind of give you a glimpse, and I'm not going to read all of these, but there's 9. You can see 1 through 9 at the top of that page there. And these developments are all here, right along here. This represents right now about 730 students in about 2,998 units. So that's a yield of just over 0.24. So not real high yield there. That's a more consistent yield. It has increased. It's gone from about 0.21 3 years ago to 0.24. It'll probably sustain right around that 0.24. We do have some future, these 12, 13, 14, and 15. Those are our future developments. Now that could add another 200 to about another 200 students if the yields remain about the same. Just want to kind of give you a picture of what's going on there. South Fork Ranch has a multifamily component that's now 329 units, and it's currently under construction. They're all market rate, so again, that'll probably fall. The yields will likely fall in that same 0.25 range as well. So with that, I'm going to transition to our enrollment forecast. That's really easy to see right there. Last year, Alvin ISD added 1,269 students. That's more students than they'd added in any previous year in the last 3 to 4 years. Next year, we're forecasting very similar growth, really. You know, we're looking at about 1,148 students, so 23,283 students by October of next year. Our forecast is basically an October to October forecast, and so it's based on the snapshot. So we know that that 22,135 that we're showing there, you know, is based on the most recent report that we got from the district. That number will probably even go up a little bit between now and October. So your growth will probably be around, could be closer to 1,300. And then our next year's forecast will be right at 1,200. Right at 1,200. Keeping in mind that we do track the continued growth in the district during the fall and winter. So when we come back to do a spring update, sometimes this adjusts that slightly. But it is about 5.2%. Continued growth. You know, we've got Alvin ISD growing almost 5% a year for the foreseeable future. And there's, you know, with 15,000 lots out there, we know that, you know, your enrollment forecast is going to see hiccups. Generally, the economists believe that there's a recession about every 7 years. So we're going to see a hiccup. So we might hit we may hit the 35,300 number in 8 years, and we may hit it in 12 years. It begins to get fuzzy after about 5 years. But we certainly know that the pace in Alvin, the location of Alvin with the, you know, the medical, the Houston districts to the north, and then the chemical and all the stuff to the south, it's kind of perfectly situated for this. I don't want to say it's a storm, the perfect storm, but because it's all good, right? It's all growth, right? We're just teaching students, but it is very strong growth. We're looking at, you know, over 13,000 students in 10 years in Alvin ISD. By campus, again, this is kind of hard to see, but just for emphasis, this might tell you that there's probably going to be a need for a few schools. We've got, the yellow is basically the permanent building capacity, and the red is building capacity with flex. So you can see if it's highlighting yellow, it's over permanent capacity. If it's highlighting red, it's over its flex capacity. And we're going to be opening schools, the school district's going to be opening schools, you know, every year for the foreseeable future. So we're going to begin to see a lot of this disappear in the coming years. And we have some color also. We can see it, you know, in the secondary grades. You know, but the opening of Manville Junior high has helped some. We're, with Shadow Creek, the high school is going to get relief next year, and so we're going to start to see some of these numbers gradually decrease. So with that, I'd be happy to take questions. Even the drop in the oil prices doesn't seem to be impacting the Houston area as much as they initially thought. Keep in mind the rig counts are down. There's a lot of things down. But there's also mojo being generated. The oil is also being used by the chemical plants, so they're able to crank up stuff. So they're hiring, and so there's some strong growth as well. Again, fall enrollment will see an increase to 1,269 students. 5-year enrollment should be about 28,000 students, and then we could be over 35,000 students within 10 years. So it's exciting. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to work here.
Board, do y'all have any questions?
May we have a copy of that presentation?
Yes.
Please.
I'll leave on. Mr. Miller.
Okay then.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You guys have a nice evening.
And expertise. Okay then, moving on, the next agenda item is the consent agenda item where we have 4 items. Would anybody wish to pull any of the consent agenda items? Okay, then moving forward, do I hear a motion to approve agenda items A, B, C, and D?
So moved.
First by Ms. Winterstrom, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickren. Okay then, all in favor of approving consent agenda items A, B, C, and D? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Next agenda item is the request to consider approval of the Alvin Youth Intervention Initiative Resolution.
Board, earlier, Alvin ISD applied for and received a $100,000 grant from the Department of Criminal Justice to support a communities and school program for both Nolan Ryan and Alvin Junior High for the next 3 years. So now we must resolve that we are going to use this grant for those said purposes.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the Alvin Youth Intervention Initiative Resolution?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tanidi, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Winterstrom. Is there any questions? Okay, then hearing none, all in favor for the board to approve the Alvin Youth Intervention Initiative Resolution? Motion carries 6-0. The next agenda item is the request to consider approval of adopting a resolution nominating a candidate for a position on the Board of Directors for the Brazoria County Appraisal District.
Board, I knew I was in trouble when Bill Hassey flagged me down as I turned by his house to go home one night. And he wanted me to know that he would prefer to not rerun for the Board of Directors for the Brazoria County Appraisal District. And he has served in that very well since 2002. But I do have good news, and that is that Mr. Tommy King has expressed interest and a willingness to serve in that capacity. So prior to that vote for that Board of Directors, then we must resolve to adopt nominating a candidate. Our recommendation is Tommy King for that candidate.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the adoption of the resolution nominating Mr. Tommy King for the position to serve on the Board of Directors for the Brazoria County Appraisal District?
So moved.
First by Ms. Winterstrom. Do I hear a second?
Second.
By Ms. Metoyer. Thank you. Is there any questions or discussion? All right, then hearing none, all in favor of approving the adoption of the resolution naming Mr. Tommy King for the position to serve on the Board of Directors for the Brazoria County Appraisal District? Okay, then, motion carries 6-0. Next on the agenda is the request to consider approval of bond parameter order refund.
Board, it's time for us to reset some interest rates on some previous bonds. So this order will authorize that issuance, sale, and delivery of those bonds, setting certain parameters, authorizing a pricing officer to approve the amount, the interest rate, price, and terms thereof, and certain other procedures and provisions related thereto.
All right, then, do I hear a motion for the board to approve the bond parameter order as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tanini. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickren. Is there any discussion or questions? All right, then, hearing none, all in favor of approving the bond parameter order as presented? Thank you. Motion carries 6-0. Next on the agenda is a request to consider approval to provide budget and award of pre-construction services for Alvin ISD Elementary number 18.
Board, as you just saw in the report from Templeton Demographics, we have to do some moving forward in how this works. And so just so you know, we've already worked with Elementary 17, and this now brings Elementary 18 to some pre-construction services. Those services would include architectural and engineering services and then geotechnical services. And it does have an accompanying budget amendment and authorization so we can get started on that work.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the pre-construction budget for Alvin ISD Elementary number 18, including budget amendment number 4 in the amount of $577,000, and authorize the superintendent or his designee to review and execute a contract for these services?
So moved.
First by Ms. Metoyer. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickren. Okay, is there any questions or comments? All right, then, hearing none, all in favor to approve the pre-construction budget for Alvin ISD Elementary number 18, including budget amendment number 4 in the amount of $577,000, and authorize the superintendent or his designee to review and execute a contract for these services?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, so we have 5 in favor and any opposed, and then any abstentions? All right, motion carries with 5 approving and 1 abstaining. All right, then the next agenda item is a request to consider approval for West Side Alvin ISD Administrative Service Center.
Board, along with that growth comes a need to meet the needs of our residents that are across the district. And so we are bringing to you tonight a recommendation to lease some space at the Pearland Town Center to house some central administration offices and some auxiliary offices there. Flexing in and out depending upon the time of the year, and it's our recommendation that we proceed with the negotiation and execution of this administrative service center lease.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board grant the superintendent or his designee the authority to proceed with negotiation and execution of an administrative service center lease agreement, including budget amendment number 3 in the amount of $76,000 for funding of architectural finishes and equipment, FF&E, along with $15,500 for related lease?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tonini. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickren. Is there any questions or any discussion?
Yes, I have something.
Yes, ma'am.
Pat, I'd like to say thank you. You've done an excellent job with this, and we're thankful.
Thank you. All right, then, hearing no further questions or discussion, all in favor for the board to grant the superintendent or his designee the authority to proceed with the negotiation and execution of an administrative service center lease agreement, including the budget amendment number 3 in the amount of $76,000 for funding of architectural finishes and equipment, also known as FF&E, along with $15,500 for related lease. All right, motion carries 6-0.
We'll move in next week, right,
All
Pat?
right. Next on the agenda is the request to consider purchase of property.
Board, as discussed in executive session, this would be a consideration to purchase plus or minus 70 acres of real property located in the southern sections of the Meridiana community, using money that was approved in the previous bond election for the purchase of a site for a central district stadium.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve?
So moved.
Hold on a second. Oh, you lost yours? Okay. So do I hear a motion for the board to approve the purchase of, I believe it's probably the whereabouts of 70 acres of real estate property located in the southern sections of the Meridiana community, and authorize the superintendent to negotiate and execute a final sale and purchase agreement not to exceed $1.50 per square foot, and contract for due diligence professional services related to same as discussed in executive session and consultation with legal counsel. And Ms. Latoya, I believe you said you had a motion. Would you like
So
to make a
moved,
motion?
yes.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Winterstrom. Is there any questions or comments? All right then, hearing none, I'll go back into the long paragraph again. All in favor to approve the purchase of around about 70 acres of real property located in the southern sections of the Meridiana community, and authorize the superintendent to negotiate and execute a final sale and purchase agreement not to exceed $1.50 per square foot, and contract for due diligence, professional services related to same as discussed in closed executive session in consultation with legal counsel. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the request to consider approval of class size waiver.
So we're back again because of growth, and we feel like it's important for us to do this every time instead of doing one blanket statement for class waivers. So due to our growth, you have the list there of additional waivers that we've asked for. Just FYI, some of the waivers that we used last month are no longer in place because those enrollment numbers have shifted or we've hired people. So a couple items down, we're going to employ more people, so we're trying to keep those numbers down.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the class size waiver as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Winterstrom. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickering. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, then all in favor of approving the class size waiver as presented? Motion carries 6-0. Next on the agenda is the request to consider employment of personnel.
Board, in relation to the several of the agenda items that we've had tonight,
Yes.
we are bringing additional classroom teachers to you for approval, and they are in your packet.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the requested personnel as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Pickering. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Winterstrom. Is there any questions or comments? All right then, hearing none, all in favor to approve the requested personnel as presented? Motion carries 6-0. All right, number 17, the request to consider approval of additional staffing positions for custodial services for the 2015-2016 school year.
I feel like we're on the same theme here tonight.
I know.
So as we're dealing with additional growth and bodies on campuses, we're asking you to amend the budget and allow us to hire more custodians and offer more custodial hours, specifically at Nolan Ryan Junior High, Alvin Junior High, Merrick, Jeter, and Wilder Elementary Schools.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the additional custodial positions and hours for the maintenance department for the 2015-2016 school year as requested?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tonini. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Humbird. I was wondering.
I woke
Okay.
him up.
You woke him up?
Thank
All right. Is there any questions or comments? Then hearing none, all in favor to approve the additional custodian positions and hours for the maintenance department for 2015-2016 school year as requested. All right then, all in favor, yes, 6-0, thank you. Number 18, the request to consider approval of administrative appointment, assistant principal for Don Jeter Elementary.
Board, as those elementary schools have continued to grow and reach some high numbers, we've kind of set some numbers of which once they reach, then they we'll be adding additional administrative help. So the first one tonight, Don Jeter, we would like to recommend Tiffany Fuller as assistant principal for Don Jeter Elementary School.
All right then, do I hear a motion to approve Tiffany Fuller as assistant principal at Don Jeter Elementary?
So moved.
First by Ms. Pickering, do I hear a second by Mr. Humbird?
Go ahead.
All righty, is there any questions or comments? All right then, hearing none, all in favor to approve Tiffany Fuller as assistant principal at Don Jeter Elementary? Motion carries 6-0. Is Tiffany here tonight?
Yes, she is.
She's right
Would you like
there.
to stand up?
Yeah.
Welcome. Okay then. All right, next on the agenda is a request to consider administrative appointment assistant principal for Red Duke Elementary.
And again, the same thing. So we would like to, for Red Duke Elementary, to recommend Haraya Lakani.
All right, do I hear a motion?
Haria?
Haria?
Haria.
Haria.
Haria Lacani.
Maria, but Haria.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve Haria Lacani as assistant principal for Red Duke Elementary?
So moved.
First by Ms. Pickren, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Humford. Is there any questions or comments? All right, then, all in favor to approve Haria Lacani as assistant principal at Red Duke Elementary? Motion carries 6-0. Would you like to stand up?
She is here too. Yes.
Welcome. Alrighty then. Next agenda item is a request to consider approval of band director for Shadow Creek High School.
Board, it is a pleasure and an honor to make this recommendation for a band director at Shadow Creek High School. Good hands to follow up because Mr. Mooney builds it as on the ground up, and so he's going to get to see the end. So our recommendation is Joshua Mooney to be director of bands at Shadow Creek High School.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve Joshua Mooney as the band director for Shadow Creek High School?
I would like to make that motion.
All right, Ms. Tonini, thank you so much. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Humford. Is there any questions or comments? All right, then, hearing none. All in favor of approving Joshua Mooney as the band director for the Shadow Creek High School? Motion carries 6-0. Mr. Mooney?
Should we talk about expectations with him right now?
Yeah,
or is
right
that
now.
probably? Oh, okay.
Work
Go ahead.
going on now.
Bring him in now. All right, then, moving on, I think our next agenda item, yes, is the superintendent's report.
We had today, the Knights of Columbus Hall today, the Battle of Highway 6, the luncheon. I do want to point out one of the unique things today that just on the helmets alone, $25,000 were raised today, just on helmets alone. So it was, and the great thing about obviously the Lions putting that luncheon together is all of that money goes right back to the kids in some form or fashion. So what a great day. The next thing on is obviously that early voting starts October 19th. Voting day is November the 3rd. If anybody needs additional information, it's on our website and you can find it there. On October 19th and October 21st will be the first meetings with incoming students, especially juniors, for Shadow Creek High School. There will be an opportunity to submit questions early and then also go to those two informational meetings and have future conversation. We are working at those meetings to develop some numbers, especially of juniors, so we can get an idea of what that enrollment projection will be to turn in at the end of the month. The librarians from Merrick, Wilder, Duke, and York came together for the very first Parent Academy for Technology. And the next seminar is November 17th and will take place at Duke, EC Mason, and Fairview. But what a great night that was for those parents to learn how to, I wished I could have attended, and I'm going to try to get to the next one because maybe they can help me, Marianne, figure out how to navigate some of those things on my computer. So, as a parent, I want to hear some of those issues that I know that they can tell me about to watch for in my own child's usage. The ACC Alvin ISD Feed the Hungry Food and Toy Drive will be beginning in the month of November, and the Toys for Tots and the food will be used here locally, and they will be turned around. And I know last year there was a change because the guy at ACC that had run it for all those years has gone, and so we're going to honor that legacy. Mr. Combs, right, and we're going to do it even bigger and better than it has been before. So, and then the last thing is that our quarterly community connection. If you got your newspaper today, it should have been in there today. So there's a great picture on the cover of the 1,000+ students at Red Duke Elementary in a building built for 800. So that's them all in the library right there. So, and that's all I have.
All right. All right, then, next agenda item, does any board member have a future agenda item? No? Okay, then, hearing none, we need to move to adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Humbird. Do I hear a second?
Second.
No. No. Ms. Pickering, would you like to second that? Thank you so much. Then all in favor of adjourning? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you, board. Thank you.
Go on ahead with us, Earl. I know. For the second half.